So tell me, when you're working on a ring and it's going to have gemstones, diamonds, sapphires, etc., set into the ring, do you fully polish the entire ring first, then set the stones, and then do any touch up polishing as needed? Or do you leave the ring in a fairly rough state, set the stones, and then go ahead and finish doing all of the sanding, pre-polish, and final polishing after the stones are set? Or do you do some sort of combination thereof? Let me know. I'm kind of curious to know what other people are doing, whether you're a beginner or an expert, a veteran, or a beginner. My answer is most of the time it depends, but in general, I go ahead and I fully polish the ring and then set the stones and then do touch up as needed. My reasoning for this is it may add a small bit of extra work because I'm going to have to polish twice in some areas around the stones where I'm working on them. But minimizing the amount of work that I do on the ring after the stones are set does several things. First of all, it reduces the chances that I may damage the ring or the stones during polishing. The other thing it does is it reduces the amount of polishing grit that could wind up under transparent stones. And this is one of the major causes of why white stones in particular, like diamonds or cupric zirconia, white sapphires, white topaz, etc., that you're using in your rings might end up looking discolored or uneven in their tone or have black outlines around them, is that typically polishing rouge, whether you're using red rouge or black rouge or white substance, there are a lot of brand names out there, but generally they're going to all be different colors. As you polish them, they're all going to just turn black. And they're very oily and very sticky. And so they can stick to crevices in and around your stones. And while you can get them out using ultrasonic and steam, depending on what other stones you might have set in there or other factors, you may not be able to do that. It's also not 100% effective at getting everything out. So that's my reasoning. Go ahead and let me know what you like to do. So here's a great example. I'm going to be putting these lab-created diamonds in this mounting, and I have given it a full polish through and through. And that'll mean that once I'm done setting all of these stones and push the prongs over, I just need to do a light bit of touch up along the prongs here. Typically when I'm working with a ring, now this one's going to have lab diamonds on the side, a lab sapphire and a lab emerald on the other side, and then a large sterling opal cabochon on top. So I usually work from small to large, and I often work from the most durable to the least durable. So in this case, my choice is pretty simple. Small diamonds go in first, then I'll set the lab emerald and lab sapphire on each side, and finally the opal on top. And the reason for this is that as you're setting stones, there's always a good chance that your hand may slip. A graver or a prong pusher might go from here and just go up this way. If the opal were there, I could run into that and chip it. There's various other problems that could occur. So, and also sometimes stones can get in the way of other stones. So in this particular ring, that order applies. So this video really is just meant to kind of start a conversation. If people want to discuss this in the comments, I'd love to hear what others have to say. If you're new at making jewelry, this is a great thing to consider. How big the stones are, will they get in the way of other stones once they're set? How fragile are they? How effectively can you clean the ring after you've polished it? How difficult will it be to polish around the stones? All of those factors. The last little bit I'll add to this is that if you're new to making jewelry and you're trying to elevate your work, get it to that next level where it feels like it's at a higher price point, taking the extra steps at the end of the project where you've got the stone set, you have everything done, you have it all polished up, make sure that you're looking at it under magnification if you're not already. Look at the tips of your prongs, run your hands over the prongs or the edges of the bezel. Make sure they're smooth. They shouldn't be catching on your clothing or on your skin. Take the extra 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it may take to go over every little bit and make sure they're smooth, they're rounded, and they're polished. And doing this, even though you might only notice the difference under magnification, it will have a subtle visual difference to the people who are looking at it, the way it feels and looks. Your photographs are going to reflect this because they're always going to be much larger than, of course, the piece in real life. And this in turn will help to elevate your product and your brand and ultimately make for happier customers because it's going to be less likely to snag on things, have prongs pulled, have stones get lost, etc. So that's the tip for today. Hope everyone out there is doing great, and I'll talk to you later. Well, for those who stuck around for the whole video, here's your reward. This is the ring here that I was using as an example, and this beautiful semi-black solid Australian opal set with lab diamonds, lab sapphire, and lab emerald. This opal presented a small challenge in that you can see it does not have a consistent thickness. This end is a little thicker than this end, so each prong had to be trimmed accordingly and then rounded off in order to make sure it was nice and smooth. Oh, you're still watching? All right, great. Bonus tip for you. Here is the companion men's opal ring and a few tips about how I polished it after setting some flush set stones. So here's the men's ring. It's almost done. I've got here this beautiful boulder opal here. I've got it aligned so that I've got the blue fire, the green fire with the emerald and the sapphire. So these stones here are flush set, and getting them in here, there's a fair amount of metal work I had to do around the stones because I actually created a tiny rim, a bezel effectively around each stone, and then pushed that metal down and compressed it around the stone in order to get these in place. So now I had to clean all of that up, which I did with some files and some sandpaper, and then finally a bristle brush. So here's a tip. As you're spinning this bristle brush around here, get it in place here. Okay, so it's going to spin clockwise. No, sorry, this is counterclockwise from your perspective. So, for example, when I'm touching up next to this stone here, if I put this on this side, then the wheel is spinning towards the stone. But that means that as the bristles fly up and they're pushing polishing compound around, they're not pushing it under the stone. So if I polish it over here, then as the wheels spin around, some of them are going to catch on this leading edge here and shove polishing grime under that edge, and you'll never get that out. So the same goes for the top of the stone. I can safely polish here all along this back edge here, and not only does it not push the grime under the edge, and I realize that depending on your video frame right here, it may look like it's spinning opposite direction, but I assure you it's spinning around in this way. Sorry, my hands are full. So it's not pushing polishing compound. Plus, because of the way that the bristles flex as they're going around, they don't ever hit the stone. So that's a great way to polish up a ring. If you've done a considerable amount of metal work after you've set stones, especially if the stones are softer like this opal. Okay, that was it. This is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Y'all take care. Bye.